All right, we're going to do it right here, man. Prison Stories 101. Miami edition. We got him back in the building. East Solid, man. Welcome, sir.
What's that? You heard me? Solid Steppers United, baby. What's up?
Solid Steppers, man. For those that don't know, man, if you don't mind, reintroduce yourself. Tell them how much time you did.
Eric E. Solid Brown, you heard me? Did 9,125 days in the bloodiest prison in America, and I'm here to tell my story, baby. I didn't survive. I overcame that shit. I was in prison, but I wasn't of prison. I make my own lane, you heard me? Think for yourself, baby.
Nah, definitely. You one of the guys who, of course, spoke on that law library, got in there, figured out your own situation to get yourself out.
Shout out to all my solid steppers in that law library and them penitentiaries, bro. Yeah, for real. That's where it's happening at. Fuck that basketball court. Fuck all that other shit. Fuck all that institutionalized shit. Get in that law library, homie, and come back out here to your people, man.
Nah, definitely. Now, you did one of the bloodiest prisons in America, man, Angola, man. So we got to speak on it. We just witnessed the situation in Florida, man, with Foolio, where they call him the Foolio 4, where they basically execute the man, pretty much with all the surveillance. They got found guilty. And it's been going viral watching the sentencing phase more so than the case itself, because in the sentencing phase they were facing a death penalty, and they had people come in and speak on why they should not get the death penalty. And one thing I got to ask you about is the warden, an ex-warden, came in and spoke on why one of the young men, he was 20 years old, why he shouldn't get the death penalty, because they could get a lot of work out of him. The sweat equity. Basically saying, like, if y'all send him to die in 15, 20 years, this boy 20 years old, we get maybe 50, 60 years of work out of him. We get him in the fields, and we need that work. I haven't seen a warden come to speak on a young man not to get the death penalty just so they can get some work out of a man. What is your thoughts on that? Because you did Angola and you did them fields.
The experience of imprisonment, you heard me, will undo a lifetime of learning. Human values will be suspended, self-concepts will be challenged, and the most ugliest, abased, pathological side of human nature will surface. Why I say that? Bruh, that's my whole, bruh, you don't, man, if you never had, I had life without parole. The judge told my mom I had to do life, die, come back and do 30 more, right? So I'm speaking from a place where a lot of people never experienced that shit, bruh. They talk that solid shit, they talk that real shit, but they ain't experienced it. I experienced it, bro, right? So when you ask me these questions, bro, I'm passionate about it, bro. And I be trying to warn, nigga, I was the fool, bro. The worst decision I made was as a kid thinking that I was a street nigga, cause nigga, I'm about my business. So it's like, okay, nigga, I'm out here, you heard me? But it was a bigger picture that I was missing, because I was too young to comprehend what was really going on in this vast world, right? Yeah. Bro, they got what you call convict leasing, for-profit prisons. Bro, this street life culture, this bullshit that we adapted to, you heard me? Bro, it was a whole fucking diabolical plan from the beginning, bro. Damn. And it caught us up. And now those brothers that you just asked me about, listen to what that warden said, bro. But I mean, any human being right now should feel disrespected by. He called us sweat equity, bro. He called us sweat equity, bro. That's the modern day, huh?
Playing on us.
That's the modern day term for what? Legalized slavery under the 13th Amendment said, the 14th, what one it is? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It says that slavery is abolished except if you convicted of a crime, bro. So this whole thing, bro, in 1898, Louisiana had a constitutional convention that said we lost the Civil War. But the Civil War never ended. They just transferred from the battlefields to the courthouse, to the executive branch, to the legislative branch, to the judicial branch, bro. They just evolved.
Yeah. So let me get your take, because you worked those fields.
Yeah, I ain't picked that cotton though.
That
was my only thing. I worked the field. I picked zucchini. I picked potatoes. You heard me? I did all that, but I ain't picked no cotton. That was just my only shout out to my ancestors. You heard me? Yeah.
Being 20 years old, working in fields for the rest of your life, because they saying in Florida there ain't no parole, there ain't like you gonna die in prison.
Yeah.
There ain't no.
Bro, it's real. Life without parole, bro, is real, bro.
Is it to the point where someone will want the death penalty, or yes, he may work the fields, but he may start working up out of the fields to where life in prison, it might be actually doable. Like, I bet I'd rather be alive at 80 than dead at 32.
Ooh, boy, that's a raw question. I just hope the people ready for. They be saying they be wanting that solid shit, but they really don't be wanting to hear the truth. You hear me? So I be trying to just make it. I would try to give them that Novocaine a little bit like the dentist do when he pulling your tooth. You hear me? I try to make you suffer peacefully. You hear me? But say, bruh. But I'm the type of person I don't never say give up. Dudes came to me in the law library and it was like, man. The judge told me this, the judge told me that. Can you help me? And I looked over their case, bruh, they had already been locked up 20 years and their freedom was on the front page. Picture that. Their freedom was on the front page of their transcript, but the indictment was bad. You heard me?
Yeah.
You know, so, but everybody else told them, oh man, you stuck out, this and that, right? So I would never tell them brothers to give up or think that that's gonna be the end of them, right? Because I'm somebody that was sentenced to die in prison. Life without parole plus 30 years. And I'm here sitting here right here. Look at this backdrop. Look at this here. So, bro, we gotta, you know what I'm saying? So we giving up this to go sit in the cell for somebody to call us sweat labor, bro? Come on, man.
Oh, man.
Like, let's be real, bro.
Now,
so I ain't gonna tell them brothers to give up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so, but, man, you gotta think before you step, baby.
Is that one thing that you should always hold on to, is hope in prison? Like,
well, I don't like saying hope. I don't like using that terminology because it's like a wing and a prayer. If you in the sky and you got just one fucking wing, and then the other side you got a prayer. Come on, bro. You know you going down. You about to crash and burn. So I don't like using that term hope. However, I like to say ambition and mental fortitude. It's gonna take them brothers to go in that law library and figure out, because every trial has errors. Every trial, like, because they're not caring about the victim, bro. Let's be real. They don't care about they don't care about.
Yeah. I hate when they try to make it like, oh, we want this young man's life. Like, they probably like,
stop acting like y'all. They trying to be about. If it was about justice, you wouldn't have set 6 photographs before me of young black males that said just pick any one of them and we'll let you go because you 16. And I just chose not to do that. You see what I'm saying? So if you really cared about justice, you wouldn't do that. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Now I like the way that you said, yes, if you could get that death penalty down to life sentence, laws change every day. You be 30 years in, 40 years in, and a law might change. At least you're alive to be able to say, yes, I might have my freedom, even though you weren't set to have your freedom. You don't know what it is. You had life plus 30. Right. And like you said, you sitting here right now today. I also do want to ask you, though, his sister came up and testified to, hopefully don't give him death, but she starts showing like how nice of a kid he is. Showing like, look at him playing, like he was acting sassy back when he was like 14, 15, arching his back and, you know, looking real sassy and stuff. Like he's a good kid, basically.
What you mean, looking sad?
Yeah, like she had photos of him like arching his back, taking pictures, you know, looking sassy, looking woman-like.
Damn.
And he a light-skinned dude, you know, 6 foot tall, but he a light-skinned dude. And I'm thinking like, I understand what she's doing. She's trying to get him to show like, no, he doesn't need death. He's a good kid. But people in the penitentiary got court TV. They could watch what she's doing. Yeah. And that's basically setting him up when he gets in jail. Like, is she setting him up for failure? Basically, man, not showing that he's like, cause he stepped on, like he did what he did.
I don't know how the prisons is in Florida, right?
Yeah, Florida, yeah.
I just know how the bloodiest prison in America is in the 90s. You heard me when I went, and some shit like that. It don't matter if them dudes see that or not. Like, if they don't feel like you a stand up man, they go fuck with you regardless. So whether she put that out or not, like, you know, they coming. Like, you couldn't just, in other words, the man that I am today is so far removed from the child I was that went to prison. The child I was that went to prison, I had to be ignorant, not ignorant, ignorant. I had to be ignorant. You see what I'm saying? Right now I use diplomacy. I use conflict resolutions. I use critical thinking, right? I'm a grown ass man now. But back then, them dudes wasn't trying to hear that shit. You see what I'm saying? It was blood on my knife and shit on my dick. Nigga, they'll throw a knife at your foot. You know? So I don't know how the prison is where he about to go. You know what I'm saying? So maybe some of them ain't even hear that. But they don't care. If he was doing that type of shit on the street, I can guarantee you they go fuck with him. Yeah, they go fuck with that boy. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. Now it's up to him how he show up though. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who he is. I don't know that.
That's real. That's real. But with that being said, what I like to do is, you know, normally when we do these prison stories, we don't glorify prison. We try to do it just to keep it real and tell these real stories. But if you don't mind, speak to, you know, some kids out here are really crashing out and they actually are about to go sit down and do some time like these young men. What advice, if they were able to see this, what advice can you give them? Because they all about to do life, regardless. What advice can you give them to do their time and do it right and be out the way if that's what they choose?
Bruh, just coming straight from the heart. I was the one that was blessed to have a real father in my life. You heard me? A lot of my comrades didn't have that. So I know what being a man is really about, right? So and a lot of those brothers didn't have the opportunity to have what I have, a real father. So my message to them is this: don't never give up. Don't never think that your life is over with. Cause my mama was in the back of the courtroom, and when they gave me life without parole plus 30 years, my mama said, "You don't have the last word." That's what she told that judge. So he don't have the last word, and no man could be out here trying to judge these little brothers. You heard me?
Yeah.
A lot of us have been manipulated, you know, by the culture. You got a lot of these rappers that a lot of them invested in the prison for profit industry, bro.
Yeah.
You did. We gotta be real, bro.
Yeah.
So their music go reflect that, bro. They'll tell their kids don't listen to their music, but they'll tell your kids to listen to it. So I just want to say to those little brothers, man, love, cause this is what they used to do. They just go when they come to prison. They're looking for the East Siders. They're looking for, you know, OGs like me, man. Hey, bro, what's up, man? Is there any, you know, relief I could get or something? So they go to that law library, bro. That's where you go find out what's up with your case, what's up with your situation, and if you really have a chance on becoming free again and experiencing this here.
Come on, man. With that being said, I gotta say it's a quick one, man. But we got you in Miami. I hear shout out Charleston White, this birthday, man. We got East Solid in the building. You already know what it is, man. Brother. I gotta say it once again. One of the most solidest dudes I know, East Solid in the building. Prison Stories 101. Hey, I salute.
Salute.
Let's go.